Hi, welcome. Today we are looking at a miracle that Jesus performed in the book of Luke, chapter 13. Jesus heals a crippled woman. We shall look at the fulfillment of this. The way of man is the design and fulfillment. When we want to build a house, we make the design of the house, then we build the house according to that design. And when the house is completed, it is the fulfillment. So the way of God is the same, the design and fulfillment. So God has given us this miracle here as a design, and today we shall look at the fulfillment. So first we are going to read it. On a Sabbath, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues, and a woman was there who had been crippled by a spirit for 18 years. She was bent over and could not straighten up at all. When Jesus saw her, he called her forward and said to her, "Woman, you are set free from your infirmity." Then he put his hands on her, and immediately she straightened up and praised God. Indignant because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath, the synagogue leader said to the people, "There are 6 days for work, so come and be healed on those days, not on the Sabbath." The Lord answered him, "You hypocrites! Doesn't each of you on the Sabbath untie your ox or donkey from the stall and lead it out to give it water? Then should not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has kept bound for 18 years long, be set free on the Sabbath day from what bound her?" Then he said this. All his opponents were humiliated, but the people were delighted with all the wonderful things he was doing. Now, Jesus intentionally performed many miracles, healing physical bodies, because he wanted to have the fulfillment. So the designs is each miracle Jesus performed in healing the physical body is a design, and Jesus performed many and various miracles healing physical bodies, because in the fulfillment time, from the moment of Jesus' resurrection to the end of the world, is the fulfillment, and not for one person, for all people, all nations, all generations. Jesus will heal in great number, long-lasting healings of spiritual ailments, of spiritual bodies. And so for this miracle, Jesus also performed intentionally for it to be a design, for it to be a miracle glorifying God the Father. But the fulfillment is all the more glorifying God the Father, in a comprehensive way of glorifying God the Father. And Jesus wanted to do that. Jesus wanted to do this miracle because he wanted to do the fulfillment. Just like us, when we want to make the design of the house, we already have in mind we want to make the actual house. So for Jesus, the actual house is healing of the spiritual ailments of the spiritual bodies. So each of us have a spiritual body, and each of us may have some ailments. And what are our ailments? Our ailments are our sins. And so this woman here, she would just bend over and she cannot stand straight. So it's a physical ailment. But we all know we also have spiritual ailments. Even though we are saved, even though we are spiritually alive, we have ailments. And now the ailment is the sins that we struggle with. So I'm just sharing with you from Galatians chapter 5 verse 17. For the designs of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to prevent you from doing what you would. So we can see that we are all struggling with this verse. This writer, the author of this verse, understands and knows human nature, and perhaps he himself struggled with it. I struggle with it. So when we have this sin of the flesh in us, we have a spiritual ailment, and that is our spiritual body cannot be as good as it should. Just like this woman, she was bent over. She cannot stand straight, and so she cannot use her physical body as it should, God intentionally make our physical body with the abilities, and we can use it to the max. But if we have a physical ailment, we cannot use it to the max. The same with our spiritual bodies. We cannot use it to the max when we have a spiritual ailment. And in verse 16 it said, but I say, walk by the Spirit. Do not gratify the desires of the flesh. So we are meant to have healing so that we can be absolutely holy. That is to overcome our sin. And what I'm sharing with you, one verse from Romans chapter 5 verse 20. Law came in to increase the trespass, but where sin increased, grace abounded all the more. So basically, when we have sin individually or as a whole world, as a whole earth, where sins increase, grace is abounded all the more. So there's always more grace for us to overcome our sins. Now, it is actually, easier to understand than actually doing it. Because as we struggle with sin, we know that it's very hard to overcome. But understanding that God intentionally give us more grace to overcome. And not for ourselves, for everybody, for all the earth, for all the human beings. And so, first we got to understand that. We got to understand that God wants us to be absolutely holy. Because what did Jesus say? In Matthew chapter 5 verse 30, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell. So Jesus wants us to be absolutely holy. Jesus wants us to be holy. And it's part of the fulfillment. God wants us to be absolutely holy. God wants us to be spiritually strong and beautiful and great. And so we have to overcome our sinfulness. Now, recently, I am struggling with sin, but recently the Lord let me understand. Because for a long time, I say sorry to the Lord all the time. And for a long time, I'm asking the Lord to help me overcome. But I am, a human, and I have weakness, and I'm looking for an easy solution. That I think the Lord will give me an easy way out. But the Lord now let me understand there is no easy way out. You gotta do it. You gotta endure it. You got to overcome it. But I will give you the grace to overcome it. So, for example, if you know, for me, I'm a little bit overweight, and when it comes to hunger, I am so extremely soft. So if I feel a little bit hungry, I have to eat. And if, you know, I eat a smaller meal, 2 hours later I'm hungry, then I will eat. Whichever way I try, you know, I cannot lose weight, and I'm a bit overweight, and because I'm so soft with that, when it comes to hunger, I cannot endure it. I'm so soft. But the Lord now let me know that I have to do it, and no one else gonna do it for me, but He will give me the grace to do it, to endure the hunger, to overcome. If I want to lose weight, I have to overcome my hunger, and I have to beat it, you know. And so if I'm too soft with it, then I cannot overcome it. But sometimes, you know, I have discipline in other way, and I can endure, and I can overcome. But now when it comes to food, it comes to hunger, I'm just too soft and I can't do it. That's my weakness. And so, like when I go cold swimming, you know, like in winter it's really cold, but I can endure the cold. I know I can do it, and I do it. But when it comes to hunger, when it comes to food, I'm just too soft. And the Lord said, I will give you grace to do it, and you have to do it. No one else can do it for you. You have to overcome it. Because I'm looking for easy solution, but the Lord's not giving me easy solution. He's not going to perform a miracle for me, you know, for that aspect. And so for this miracle, Jesus wants to heal us of our spiritual ailments. But sometimes the way He heals us, the way He gives us, is the grace to do it. And because grace is abounded all the more. So where sin increased, grace abounded all the more. And we must take this verse into our heart and understand it, and ask our God to help us to overcome. And so I surrender to Jesus my spiritual ailments, because I want to be absolutely holy, because I want my spiritual body to be absolutely beautiful, to be absolutely strong, to be absolutely great. And that is part of the fulfillment God had in store for us, to be absolutely beautiful, absolutely great, absolutely strong spiritually. So we want to get the fullness of the fulfillment. We surrender to Jesus, so He will help us overcome our sin. Thank you for joining me today.